Hello guys, welcome back to day 22 of our 30 days React Zero to Hero series. And today we will be discussing about lazy loading. Let's get started. So lazy loading is a design pattern where certain parts of your application like components, images, modules are loaded only when they are needed instead of loading everything at the start. So in React, it usually means loading a component only when a user navigates to it rather than building it in the initial JavaScript bundle. So why we use lazy loading? Because it improves the performance by code splitting, like dividing the code into the smaller chunks, and browser loads them whenever they are required. So most importantly, it reduces the initial load time. Hence, it optimizes user experience. And also, it saves the bandwidth. Let's see in our code. So I'll clear this parent component. I'll create a new parent component from scratch. And I will create one button directly. Load component. I have already created one pop-up component. It's just a pop-up, nothing else. And inside the parent component, I'll create one state variable, open pop-up, and I'll initialize it to false. Also, I'll import this use state here. I will implement this on-click handler so that whenever we click this load component button, it will change the open pop-up state like this. And also, I will write whenever that open pop-up is true, we will show this pop-up component actually. So I will import this pop-up component like this. So currently we are importing the pop-up component as usual way. So instead of that, I'll be loading it with a lazy loading technique. Pop-up equal to lazy. Inside the brackets, I'll write. So I'll import the pop-up. Now let's see on our front end. Whenever I'll be clicking this load component button, this pop-up is opening up like this. So currently our pop-up component is really small. It is not taking that much of time. But sometimes what happens, there are some components which take lots of time to load and print on the DOM. But if those components are not required on the landing page of your project, then it is advised to use this lazy loading technique to load that component. Also we have the suspense loader as well. So let's write this. And we will wrap our pop-up component inside this suspense component. So what this suspense component does, it has one fallback UI. So let us say this is a fallback and we are passing it a component. So currently we are simply passing it a div saying a loading. So whenever our browser is loading this pop-up component from the server, till that time if user opens this pop-up, then this fallback UI will be shown to the user. So it will show that a loading, and whenever browser finishes the loading of this pop-up component, it will hide this fallback UI and show this pop-up component to the user. So this is the lazy loading technique you should use whenever it is possible to implement in your project. And that's it for today's video guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.